is in theaters tomorrow, and our own David Plummer went on a getaway of his own last week to interview the stars of the movie. So welcome, Davey.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, before we hear from the stars, tell us what this movie's about.
Okay, so this is Selena Gomez and Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke's wife gets kidnapped. They have to race around the streets of Bulgaria, completing little tasks to eventually save her. So John Voight is kind of the bad guy of this movie. It's an interesting movie. It's kind of an escapist film, and I got to interview Selena and Ethan Hawke, so take a look.
We'll await further instructions.
Get out.
You got the wrong car.
Drive away now.
I can't.
Drive away. Take her with you.
What do you want me to do with her?
Kill her.
You know, they throw out phrases like edge-of-your-seat thriller a lot for movies, and this really, really was an edge-of-your-seat thriller. I mean, to the point you're kind of exhausted in a really good way.
Good.
At the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I was tired when it was over, too.
You gotta be. You gotta be. So how much studying did you guys have to do, just in terms of the car lingo, in terms of the technology, especially for you? You're dealing a lot with iPads and different things that you gotta do. So how much studying do you guys have to do to get ready for the movie?
I don't know if I could really study how to navigate breaking into certain lines of, Ethernets and things like that. I wouldn't know how to do any of that. So it was fun for me to actually try and become her and figure out her angst and why she knows all this stuff and why she put her energy and time into wanting to be savvy in that kind of in that world. So it was more me trying to figure out emotionally why she was there, because I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff. And it was great. It was a lot of monologues of me trying to figure out where I was at and him and thanks and things like that. It was crazy.
What about you? Were you a big gearhead going into this?
I like cars, but I wouldn't identify myself as a gearhead. I can't take apart an engine blindfolded and put it back together or anything.
Sure.
But it's part of the fun of it. I mean, that's part of the fun of what we do, is it's playing, And this is a dynamic, to race this car around and have some fun, and that's what I liked about it.
Just hold the wheel for a second. I need you to dash it. You ready?
You've obviously made a lot of interesting choices throughout your career, and some great choices throughout your career. And Selena, I know you're kind of at a place coming from the Disney world, and you've made some really good choices so far, including this movie. I mean, with Spring Breakers and now this. So how much thought goes into what your next role is going to be, and how important it is for you to take that next step?
I don't really think there's a right or wrong answer, and I don't really know if I'm going to be a part of... you never know when you're shooting a movie. Sometimes you kind of, is this going to turn out the way you think it's going to turn out? So I don't really know. All I know is that I love what I do, and I have to throw myself off, and I have to kind of throw people off as well, because that's the joy of going to a movie. When people were telling me they were disgusted and terrified or mortified with Spring Breakers, all of that made me happy, because it made people feel something, and that's what I want to do. I want them to feel something when they watch a movie and have it be an experience. So I just want to be a part of great projects, and knock on wood, I get to continue to do that, but we'll see.
All right. Have you given her any advice, as
None that was worthwhile.
None that was worthwhile? Is that right?
True.
Oh, all right.
No,
all right.
he has got lots of words of wisdom.
Okay, so obviously you guys have a good rapport together, but you spend a lot of time in really close quarters.
Yeah.
Do you get sick of each other? Obviously you got to bond in some ways, but is there a point where you go, oh man, I got to get out of here?
There's a point where everybody wants to go home from work. For sure. But I don't think we were the cause. For
No, not at all. And we were very much in our heads, and in this movie there's a lot going on, so we wouldn't really chat and kind of get to know you unless we went to dinner. Like, we'd go out to dinner, we'd go for, outside of just talk outside with my mom or something, and that was when we really got to share stories. But when we were there, it was intense.
All right, my last question. I read there are like 130 cars used in this movie. movie, stunt vehicles. Did you guys get to go home with one?
I wish.
No?
Oh, he's really wanting the Shelby. That's
I know.
for sure.
I'm making in all my interviews. I talk about how much I'd like a free Shelby from the Shelby company because I think I deserve one. I think I've done a giant ad for Shelby, and I think that I should get to drive one home.
I think you should.
I think they should see me taking my kids to school in the Shelby. Get paparazzi photos. I think it'd be good for them.
I agree.
I think it's in their best
100%.
interest.
Maybe.
You know.
Well,
I'll drive you to the premiere in a brand new Shelby Cobra if they'll give me one.
That's nice.
There you go. I think that's a good idea. Thank you guys so much. Good luck with the film.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time. Remember, Tom Cruise got that car from Jack Reacher.
That's right,
They
exactly.
do give those gifts. But now, when you go into this interview, is asking about Justin Bieber, is that off limits? Do they tell you that ahead of time?
No, they didn't lay anything out saying you can't ask about Justin Bieber. I mean, it just comes down to the fact that I don't care about Justin Bieber. I mean, I really like, this is about the movie, and I feel like it's kind of insulting to go in there and ask her about her. I mean, everybody's asked about that. I feel like it's old news, and I just don't care.
Well, she's gorgeous, and she's only 21. That was a lot of legs she was showing in that interview.
She is gorgeous. She's 21, and she looks like she's 12. So it's definitely sort of distracting to be in that room because you feel a little like, oh, I don't want to see you looking like that. And,
right.
You know. But yeah, she is absolutely gorgeous, and she's got a future. I think she's making some good choices, and I think she'll continue to do so.
All right, thanks, Davey. Make sure to check out Getaway when it hits theaters tomorrow. Coming up next, Kelly and Michael, the producers behind the scenes. We're going to talk to them. We've been talking about Kelly and Michael and the move that's going to happen on Monday, where we're going to 11. They're coming here at 9. And then later, Chicago and Jeffrey Goldford performs. We'll be right back.